Thank you for joining us today. We are sitting with Josh Rennie-Hynes, the man, the myth, the legend. He's actually with us today. Yes. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I am so excited. Just full transparency, like have a knot in my stomach. I'm like a little intimidated, a little nervous, but mostly excited to be sitting down with you.
Oh, well, thanks for having me.
You have quite the pedigree behind you musically, and I'm just excited to get into it and let our listeners get to know you.
Let's do it.
Let's start off with some rapid fire questions, shall we?
All right, let's go.
We were talking about this in the car on the way over today. Is there a Nickelback of Australia? And who is it? Because we need to know and need to look them up.
I'm trying to think. I mean, Nickelback were pretty dang big in Australia too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they were global. But, I mean, they're not really Nickelback, but Russell Crowe had a band for a while called 30 Odd Foot of Grunt. They were like rock and roll, you know. They played all the pubs.
Know this?
Yeah. No, I don't know. This is quite a while ago, probably 10, 15 years. But he was like, I want to be in a rock and roll band now. And he just started playing the pubs in Australia.
Okay, so I kind of think that would be good. Not that Nickelback's not good, but they seem to be like the butt of jokes in America, at least. So is there was he like the butt of jokes in this band or?
I mean, he became like, I wouldn't say the butt of jokes, but it was kind of like, oh, Russell Crowe's playing in a like rock and roll band now and just touring Australia and what? I think it was like right after Gladiator tour, so it was like peak of his fame, and then he just went straight into like full pub rock, Australian, Aussie rock circuits. That was kind of cool, kind of badass actually.
Yeah, that's admirable.
But yeah, I feel like Nickelback do get a lot of heat because I don't know. I guess it's just the way that dude is, Chad Kroeger, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
But
you don't know him personally, songs. Do you?
No, I've never met Chad.
I didn't like offend you with that. Okay, so I was just asking you about how long you've been here in Nashville proper. You said 4.5 years.
Yeah.
I want to know, you came here directly from Australia.
Yeah.
Is there an American food, like what do you think is the most hyped up, overrated American food or snack or restaurant?
Geez. You're going to get me into bad waters here.
No. Tell all. It's
I don't know.
Tell all.
I mean, look, I'm a sucker for like a classic good cheeseburger now.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of those in Nashville that I really like, just like well made. Mm-hmm. But I'm not really that big of a fan of like the meat and three thing. I mean, it's okay, but I'm not like, whoa, everyone before I moved to Nashville was like, you got to try like meat and three or this and that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's all right. But
it's a little stacked.
It's just like home cooked kind of food, but
yeah. No snacks or anything like that, like candies.
I mean, the packaged pickles are pretty strange.
Yeah.
It
is kind of strange. Even I don't really touch those, but
yeah, I don't know anyone who does, but I always see them in the gas stations, like the squelchy guys.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing, why they're there.
Just hanging out, apparently. So what's your favorite place then for your classic cheeseburger?
Hugh Babies, represent.
Yeah.
Have you had Hugh Babies?
No, yet.
Right. It's a really good spot in town.
I'm on board though.
Yeah. There's a spot just down the road from here.
Oh, nice.
They do like a really good classic, like smash style cheeseburger. Local beef, everything's fresh, really good.
So for our followers, you might notice a pattern here. Every episode I will ask about food, and it's because I'm in charge of these interviews, and that's what you're going to get is food.
Hey, I'm all about it. I'm a foodie. I love food.
All right, let's dive into a few more interview questions.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Going deep.
I have to say, I was trying to do a little bit of research ahead of time, but you have quite a bit of press coverage on the World Wide Web.
On the webs?
Yes. But in 500 words or less, Josh, tell us.
Oh boy.
Who are you really? Can you describe yourself to our listeners? Not the way a magazine or a blog would. Mm-hmm. Who are you to yourself?
Who am I to myself?
Yeah.
I'm just
a question.
Yeah, just a small question. I mean, I feel like I'm just a boy from the country in Australia. Mm-hmm. I grew up on a farm in rural Australia. I grew up with a big love for music and nature. And I feel like they're two things that I'm still really heavily involved with. So music has kind of always been in my life from a really young age. I've always sang and been around music and played, and it's just always felt like a natural thing to me. It's always been kind of interwoven in my life.
Yeah.
And, you know, my dad was a farmer and did lots of things, and my mum, she also grew up in rural Australia as well, and they both had a big love for music, and mum had a big love for nature and the natural world. So, yeah, I'd say that's a big part of who I am for sure.
That's great. Are they still farming out there?
My mum still lives on the farm, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we still have some property in Australia, and all my family's still around kind of that same region in Australia, so yeah.
That's very cool. Mm-hmm. Was there a moment in your upbringing? So it felt like music was very natural for you. Was there a moment though where you recognized that that's what you wanted to pursue?
I mean, from a young age, I'd played in bands in high school, and I was always doing it, pursuing it, even though I wasn't like, I'm going to make this my life.
Yeah.
Because I guess where I grew up, it wasn't really ever a path that anyone spoke about. It's like, oh, you can be an artist or you can be a songwriter. It was kind of like, you can get a trade, or you can like do this or move to the city and do university or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it took me a while to actually come back to that. I think I was probably like 26 or 27, and I was working full time in a job in Australia. Okay. I was doing conservation work at the time. So doing a lot of like habitat restoration and planting a lot of native forests and stuff in Australia, and it was a really cool job, and I was passionate about it, but music was always kind of like my number one. So yeah, I was like running a few teams and managing, and I just quit and said I'm going to do music now and see what happens and where it leads me. So here I am now in the US doing music.
Well, nowadays out in the Nashville scene, you are often referred to as Nashville, the Nashville via Australia artist. But can I ask what the impetus was for you to relocate this way? You could have gone to the Bay Area in California. You could have gone to LA or New York. What made you want to come to Nashville? Was it planned? Did it just happen? Or
that was kind of fortuitous as well, because I was moving to America. Uh-huh. I'd got my artist visa, which was quite a big process. And right before I was about to move I was either going to move to LA or Austin. And then at the last minute, I had applied for this Australian Arts Council grant, and it was specific to Nashville. And it's called the Nashville Songwriters Residency, and it won Australian Songwriter a year. So I got that, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll try Nashville out for a while. That's why I moved to Nashville.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Well, we're blessed. We're blessed to have you here.
Thank you. I like
That
it
is really cool. What's been the scariest part of trying to break into the Nashville music scene, or even the most gratifying? Could be the same thing, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything scary. I would say it's just an inspiring place, because at first moving here, I was like, wow, everyone I'm meeting is an artist or a musician, or everyone's talented in so many different ways here. You know, especially I live in East Nashville, so it's like a really cool community over there of creatives. And so, yeah, I kind of felt like a kid in a candy store. I still do. The fact that I still go out now and meet people, and I'm like, wow, what are you doing? Oh, you know, everyone's doing cool stuff, so that's been really inspiring for sure.
Yeah. There's a huge energy, a huge push. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I want our listeners to know, like, where can we find you? How can we connect with you? Where can we see you live?
Okay, yeah, you can find me on all the social medias, Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. I've got my brand new video up there for When We Touch.
Yes.
And we shot that whole thing in East Nashville one night. We went till about sunrise and just went crazy and shot this whole kind of rogue video, which I just released, so have a look at that. So yeah, I have a show on September 30th at the East Room. It's a single release show for When We Touch.
That is coming up, September 30th. Mark your calendars.
And I've got my friends Dylan Smucker playing, and also Ducky Neptune, local band, really cool. So it's a great lineup, and we're going to sell it out, so come along.
Absolutely. Yeah. Can we get tickets ahead of time?
Yep. Yes, they're pre-sale tickets. Get on it. Be there. Watch the video. Yes.
Sweet. Well, just to round out the episode, do we have any shout outs? Anyone we want to say hi to?
I want to say hi to my mother back in Australia.
Hi, Mom.
Love ya. All my family back in Australia. And to everyone watching this and listening, I hope you like my music. Please go check it out. And cheers.
Who wouldn't like your music?
I know there'd have to be some kind of, I don't know. It's good music. I mean, come on.
Thank y'all for listening. Stick around for the acoustic version of When We Touch.
I can't help myself when the night's coming on, when it's late and I don't wanna go home alone. Hate that you're the one that I turn to. It's turning lethal. Watch it shatter till I'm out on my own. I can feel it when we touch. I can feel it in my blood lately.